Yeah. Barakatah Yahawah. Barakatah Yahawashi. Want to give all praise. Kahalayim Yahawah. BaHaSham. Yahawashi. BaHaSham. Rawchaa QaDash. Like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, to the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, shalom, to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, yahawah, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Ram Yahawah with the lesson. And yeah, let's get to it. It's bright and early this morning in Phoenix, a murder-suicide. And let's go ahead and get at it, fair use.
Just almost 10 o'clock on your Monday, and this just into the newsroom. Phoenix police say 3 people are dead after that shooting last night in South Phoenix.
We've been telling you about this throughout the morning, where 2 people were killed, and now we're learning more information about what unfolded at this home near 40th Street and Baseline. Officers say 68-year-old George Chin Koo shot and killed his 64-year-old wife Scarlett, his 30-year-old son Jeremy, and another man at the home. Officers then say George turned the gun on himself and died by suicide. Jeremy, we now know, died at the hospital, and the other man who was shot is still recovering, and he is expected to survive. Officers say this all started after a domestic violence incident between the suspect and his wife.
Our ride to the store ended in tragedy for a young Arizona family.
I ain't never gonna see my grandbaby again.
8-year-old Envy Cardenas and her father, 30-year-old Quincy Polk, were shot and killed in their car near 19th Avenue and Baseline Road.
This made no sense that my son had to die this way. Like, that was just overboard. And then to turn around and hurt my grandbaby also, that's senseless.
Phoenix police could not confirm if this is a road rage incident, but tell us Polk and another driver got into a physical fight in a parking lot Saturday afternoon. They separated and went back to their own cars. That's when the suspect, identified as 28-year-old Tyrone D. Chili, allegedly pulled a gun and shot at Polk's car several times, hitting Polk, his girlfriend, and 2 of their young daughters.
He didn't deserve what happened to him. My niece didn't deserve it either. She's innocent. She's 8 years old.
Family tells me Polk was a loving father who would do anything for his daughters.
He would go nowhere without his daughters. They was coming everywhere he went.
And Cardenas was smart, with a bright future ahead of her.
She was so happy. She was so bouncy, had this long, beautiful hair.
Cardenas' mother is still in the hospital after being shot in the face, neck, and shoulder. Her 5-year-old sister was shot in the leg and is expected to recover.
She's gonna have a bullet in her leg for the rest of her life. They can't remove.
The family is now hoping to spread awareness about the dangers of road rage.
Road rage ain't nothing to play with.
In hopes their story saves other lives.
Get home to your family. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
To his daughters, Victor Altamirano was the heartbeat of their home.
He was family-oriented. He loved being around us. He loved being around his grandkids.
But in the months before his death, grief weighed on him. He had lost both parents. Pain, his daughter Melissa says, changed him.
Losing his mom hurt him the most. He would go visit her.
Then came the morning that shattered their lives.
My dad wasn't at the door that morning, and the look on my mom's face, I knew something was wrong.
Get down, get down!
Melissa called 911 out of fear and a plea for help.
I let them know, he did have a knife in his hand, he's having suicidal thoughts.
Minutes after police arrived,
This is our house. He lives with us.
Victor ran out of the home. And the family heard gunfire.
I just heard bullets and gunshots and him telling them kill me.
All right, he's down!
Body-worn video from the officers shows them using both lethal and non-lethal weapons, fired almost simultaneously.
They used non-lethal weapons, but once that was not taking him down, they just finished him off. And he was running and shot in the back.
Maricopa County has seen at least 6 shootings involving police that started as mental health calls.
We're the ones who are dispatched to those calls. And we're kind of the default agency. Our job is just to kind of make society work.
The president of the Glendale Fraternal Order of Police says officers are often placed in impossible situations, asked to handle mental health emergencies with limited support or few alternatives.
I just don't think it's appropriate to put social workers in those positions where they have to respond to somebody who's armed with a weapon and making threats of self-injury or injury to others. I think in those cases you have to have Law enforcement.
Altamirano's daughters believe police never tried to calm him or de-escalate. They are now left with grief and guilt. Calling the cops is what I live with every day. If I didn't call them, would he still be here with us today?
The family is now calling for changes to the ways police respond to these types of calls. While police say there need to be more preventative resources that help people before it gets to the point where officers need to step in. Both say something needs to change so that no other families lose someone the same way the Altamirano family lost their father. Reporting live, Alexis Dominguez.
Yeah, so this is Proverbs chapter 29, verse 1. Subheading says warning and instructions. Right? He that being often reproved harden his neck and suddenly be destroyed, that without remedy. Right? And that's a lot of you Jakes, a lot of you Israelites, man. You're constantly reproved via the prophets, via the testimonies of Yahawashi and the prophets, right? And you don't want to be reproved. You know, the men of the Lord. I mean, you've heard the outstretched hands of the Lord, through the voice of the Lord, which are the prophets, should I say, which is the outstretched hands of the Lord via through the diligentness of the brotherhood, right? On the highways and the byways, digital epistles, whosoever subordinately refuse to accept criticism, right? And that's what we do. We criticize you Jakes, man. And you go, oh yeah, you ain't God. Who are you to judge me? Well, we're not God to judge you, but the judgment is already set, right? The books is already open, as the scriptures say. The judgment is already set and the books are open. So we via through Yahawashi, being that he had loosed the 7 seals, makes the books open, and it gives forth what? The understanding, the judgment, the wisdom, knowledge, understanding, right? Which is the stability of my times, or of our times, those who believe, unwavering faith, right? And trust in Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi will, but those who will refuse to accept criticism will suddenly be destroyed beyond recovery, right? You're not going to be able to recover, right? And this is why what's going on. These Jakes didn't want to get corrected via through the prophets, man, right? These so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, right? Because those are all Jakes that got killed. You know, these videos that I showed. These are all Jakes, right? You know, and oh well, except for the one was well, she could have been a Jake too. The very first video, I forgot the dude's name. Something. Something. It was sound like a Moabite name, John, and then they had like a Moabite last name. So which, you know, who knows, you know. But he went in there. I had an argument with his wife. Killed his wife, killed his son, shot the son's friend, and then killed himself. Right? That's there's no recovery for that, right? Without recovery, right? Because there's no, you know, the Holy Spirit is it's not working in them, right, so to speak, to recover them, or to be a remedy unto them, right? The spirits, right? You know, a lot of people go to church. They say they're you know, they believe in God. They'll go to church, whatever so-called denomination that they fall under, right? They have the same Bible that we have, right, so to speak, except for a lot of them don't have the Apocrypha, besides the Catholic Church, which they're missing even chapters, because I looked at the Catholic Bible and they're missing a lot of verses in the Catholic Bible, not unless it's just the one that they show on the digital one and they take it out. I might need to get an actual Catholic Bible so I can see, but I know in the digital one, it's like missing all of freaking Second Ezra or something like that. Like, it's crazy, but they're missing a lot. But regardless, at the end of the day, they don't have the Spirit, right? They don't have it. It's not, the point I was going to get to is they have a zeal according to the power, but not according to knowledge. And then even what they have is not mixed with faith. It's what I was trying to get to, right? Because we're in this world, right? There's pressure, right? Even that the lady was saying something about the pressures that psychology said, the pressures of the holidays, right? And society, right? So that's the time that we're living in, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, and there's no one rejoicing right now because the right society is not in play, right? No one's rejoicing because obviously, well, we'll read it right here, and then I'll speak on it, right? But when the wicked, right, there we go, beareth rule, right, and that's exactly what I was going to say. The people mourn, right, because it says the earth is given into the hands of what? Of the wicked. So when the wicked bear rule, which means that they're ruling, so the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Job 9:24, right? The people mourn. It says when the godly, see, and that's ultimately what it comes down to. Yahawashi, King David, right? The 12, the 144,000, right? In authority, ruling over the planet Earth, right? The people rejoice, right? But when the wicked are in authority, Donald Trump, the Rawchaa, the Bilderbergs, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Oppenheimers, the World Bank, the Economic Forum, the World Economic Forum, the World Health, right? The WHO, right? It's going to make the world what? Mourn or groan. It says the wicked are in power, they groan. But when the wicked are in power, they groan. And that's what's happening, man. All sorts of calamities are happening. Yeah. So this is Isaiah chapter 29, verse 15, right? Being that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, right? It says, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi, and their works are in the dark, and say, who seeth us and who knoweth us, right? Dealing with the Illuminati, right? The shadow government, whatever you want to call them, right? The ones who really running the show, right? When Donald J. Trump is just a puppet on a string, right? And all your prime ministers and things like that are just puppets on the strings. That's why every nation right now is pushing forth a digital ID and digital base income, right? And universal basic income, right? And they're putting strain on the people, right? You know, right? They're you know, that's just how it goes. Whose sorrow await, who tries to hide their plans from Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi, and ultimately that's what they're doing. You know, they're trying to hide the plans from Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi, but also from you people, man, because that they figure if they come in gradual, you know, then the Lord won't come back, right? Like, you know what I mean? I don't know how to say it. Yeah, but it's almost like, you know, they feel like if they could sneak it in, the Lord won't regard it, or he won't notice it, right? So to speak. You know, sleight of hand, right? Which, you know, Esau's been good at. But that's for you people, right? Who do their evil deeds in darkness, in the dark, and Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi can't see, and that's how they think. You know, they're pushing forth this pressure from above, pressure from beneath, pushing in the tariffs and putting in, writing these different laws and putting in different things. You know, matter of fact, they even telling you what it's already saying certain things when you buy certain stuff. You know, it's already asking you, like, once I was pulling it was asking me for my biometrics. I was like, wait a minute, this app never used to say that. And then I hit it again, it went away. And I tried to go back to see but it went away. But they're showing you that they're implementing just for you to get on any little site. Say you're trying to go Well, this big thing now is DoorDash or what's the other one? Uber Eats. Yeah, now it's going to be for you to order off of DoorDash or Uber Eats or even one of these food apps. You're going to have to show your biometrics in order to order off the food app, right? And if you don't do that, you won't be able to order, right? If you don't do that, you won't be able to use your bank. You won't be able to go to work, right? So it's that pressure from above, pressure from beneath. But they think no one sees them. God can't see. Who? The Lord? God can't see me. They say he does not know what's going on. See, they think the Lord don't know what's going on. How could he possibly know? It says, surely their turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. So this is going to be what they tell you during the CB19. This is the new normal. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to push forth a cashless society. They're going to push forth what is it? Yeah, pressure. I forget. I'm going to say pressure, but sorrow, so to speak. And they're going to make it seem normal. Well, it's the holidays. This is the hardest time for people. Meanwhile, they're spraying stuff in the air. Meanwhile, they're putting things in your food. Meanwhile, they're telling you can't have food. They're restricting you from food, right? Which that was a psyop for the EBT card to see how you're going to react, right? And yeah, it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse before it gets worse, right? Pushing in the military, the National Guard, seeing what people are doing, because really everybody should be up in an uproar, saying forget that. And everybody in every city should stand up and say, hey, get these people up out of our city. We're going to protest and we're not going to have this. Right? Because then they would have to just come out and just start opening fire and slaughtering people. But then that would be all over the news. And then you would see what type of the people, what they really are, what this is really all about. Right? Because they planned on, through the Georgia Guidestone, planning on wiping out a significant amount of people on the planet Earth, right? There's about 8 billion people on the planet, and they say they only want 500 million, which is basically wiping out 7.5 billion people. That's their plan. So they don't plan on you living anyway. That's what you have to consider, right? Meanwhile, you're going crazy, doing all sorts of murder, suicides, killing your wife, your son, the neighbor, and yourself. Then you're out there with the road rage. You know what I mean? Then you're out there with the depression, the mental health. These are the things of the devil, because they're in rulership, but they don't think no one sees them. These are conditions that when the wicked rule, the people are mourning. Right? Where was I at? Salakia. Yeah, they should, because all this is going to be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he has no understanding? Right? How foolish can you be? Right? At the end of the day, how foolish could these people be? Right? Because they think they're elite, but obviously they're not. You're not smart enough to have a casino and go bankrupt with 3 or 4 casinos. But is he? Right? It might be damn near genius. Right? You raise the tariffs, shoot it up high, then you take the tariff money and then you spend it. Being you're supposed to give it to the people, and you spend it, but then you don't have to spend. And that's, you know what, that's genius. That's actually genius, right? And at the end of the day, you ended up being president after being a reality show person, which they show you that, man. All these they're just actors or failed actors, right? Ronald Reagan was an actor. He was on all these some type of I forgot what it was a gunslinger or whatever it was. He was one of them Wild West shows. He was an actor. How did you let an actor come in and someone voted this guy in as president? Same thing with Lazinski. The dude was an actor. He's it shows you that this thing is all set up, man. But it's esteemed as the potter's clay, man. That you're just these pronounced people who, oh yeah, everybody wanted to vote them in. Nah, they were chosen. That's what it's called, an election. They were chosen. That's what election means, right? He is the potter. Yeah, I'll just start from the beginning. How foolish can you be? He is the potter, and he is certainly greater than you, which is the Most High. Yahweh BaHaSham is greater than Esau. The clay should the created thing say, right? You as a person, should you say, the one that made it, he didn't make me? So you say the Lord didn't make you? So he knows everything. You say, oh, I don't think the Lord can see. How can he know? Well, the Lord made everything. Does a jar ever say the potter who made me is stupid, right? Which a lot of you, the actual literal jar can't do that. But you as people, who's just a vessel, who the Father of spirits, he's the one who the Lord said, the reason why you live it, the Lord liveth, maketh alive, and the Lord killeth, man, right? Yeah. So this is Psalms chapter 94, verse 8. It says, "Understand, ye brutish among the people, and ye fools, when will ye be wise?" When will you truly actually be wise? Never, especially without the understanding of Yahweh BaHaSham and the Spirit, the Holy Spirit. You're never going to be wise, right? He that planteth the ear, shall he not hear? You say, we're going to be wise enough to go, oh wait, can he? Did he know what's going on? Right? Can the Lord see? Right? But if the Lord planted the ear, should he not be able to hear? He that formed the eye, shall he not see? The Lord can see through your eyes. He is the Father of spirits, right? He that chasteneth the heathen, right, which means correct you, to punish you, shall not he correct, right? And he's going to correct the heathen, right? The pressure from above, pressure from beneath, right? And that's the things that is going to happen, right, on the planet Earth, right? Because he think that he can, do all these different things, man, right? Cause all these the rift in society, right? He that teacheth man not knowledge, shall he not know, right? So he taught you the knowledge, right? So you're putting forth chemtrails in the air. The Lord gave you the technology. You pushing forth the charagma. The Lord gave you the technology or the knowledge to make the micro C hip, man, right? The Lord created the knowledge for you to make the data centers. You think he don't know what's going on? He don't think that you putting forth the chemicals in the air or the fog that's making people bug out and making people have depression or mental health, that the Lord doesn't know these things? Of course he does. Right? The Lord knows all these things. The Lord gave you the knowledge to do these things, man. Right? You think pressure from above, pressure from beneath is a new thing? Order out of chaos is a new thing? It tells you in the scriptures that the Lord is a man of war, right? Matter of fact, let's get that, because those are war strategies, man. Right? Yeah, so this is Exodus chapter 15, verse 3. It says, Yahweh BaHaSham Yahawashi is a man of war. Yahweh BaHaSham Yahawashi is a warrior. Yahweh is his name, right? Right? And right there it says YAH, which is Yah, meaning he. Hawa, right? It's supposed to be another A, then W, then A, and then H. Yahweh, right? Which means he exists, the existing one, right? Is his name, right? Right? And I say Yahweh BaHaSham Yahawashi in the beginning, right? Because the Lord is going to bring forth, let his son come forth and judge. He's giving him the dominion over everything, right? giving him, the authority and the dominion over everything. But Yahawah gets the credit, right? And the Lord is what? A man of war. Salakia. Oh, shoot. Did not mean to do that one. I want to go to war. War. To fight. War. Battle. Fight. Warrior. War. Yeah, this even goes into H6213. No, I didn't. And H376. Right? Generally. Engagement. Generally. War. Warfare. Right? So pressure from above, pressure from above, pressure from below. It's all warfare, bro. You think the Lord don't know that? Right? And then what? Was it causing people to starve, famine? That's a war thing. Matter of fact, it says something about that. What was that? Oh yeah, click in there. Yeah, to eat or use as food, right? Sometimes the Lord used food as war, right? He would stop it from raining. The time, was it in Egypt? He caused it to not rain everywhere. It made everybody go into Egypt to get your goods and stuff from Egypt, right? Even in the scriptures, it tells you that the Lord, those who will not serve him, that he will not make it rain on them, right? That's a war. You think the Lord don't know war tactics, right? Yeah. So this is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 16, and it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall go up from year to year to worship the King, which is really Yahawashi, but of course, like I said, Yahawah always gets the glory, get the credit, right? King Yahawah, right? BaHaSham Yahawashi, BaHaSham QaDash of hosts, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, right? The end of the enemies of Jerusalem who survives the plagues will go up to Jerusalem each year to worship the King, which is Yahawashi, right? Yahawah, BaHaSham Yahawashi, and we worship Yahawah through Yahawashi of heaven's armies, right? Because the Lord's about war. And he keeps showing you that of heaven's armies. That's what host means. Host meaning armies, to celebrate the feast of shelters, right? And it shall be that whosoever will not go up of all the families of the earth to Jerusalem to worship any nation in the world that refuse to come to Jerusalem, and this is in what you call heaven. Heaven's going to be on earth. I don't know if you know that or not, right? And you refuse to come to Jerusalem to worship the King, which is Yahawashi and King David, right? And then of course the 12, then 144,000. Yahawah, BaHaSham Yahawashi, because through Yahawah, right, you have to go through Yahawashi. You have to worship the King, right? Which, of course, is King David, but the King is also Yahawashi in order to get to Yahawah, right? And then you heathen, you have to worship the kings, the elect King David, or the elect, the 12, King David, Yahawashi, then Yahawah, right? But you're in the outer courts, right? It says, of heaven's armies will have no rain, right? You're not gonna have no rain if you don't go. So that's part of that's starvation, right? That's the ultimate pulling back of the EPT card, right? When you're gonna have all that technology type stuff, the way you have it ain't gonna exist, right? We'll have some type of technology, but the way you're using it as a as a leverage, right? It won't be done like that, right? The Lord will just withdraw the rain. So whatever family on the earth says whosoever will not not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the king, which is Yahawashi, plus King David, the 144,000, and just the Israelites, just in general, right? Because you're just heathens, right? And well, you got Israelites too. You're gonna have to come and worship. It says of hosts, which means armies, even upon them that them shall be no rain. If you don't come up, hey, the ultimate, that's all war. It's all war tactics, right? I don't even think I need to read the rest of this. Well, I'll read it. It says, and if the families of Egypt go not up and come not, that no rain, there shall be plagues. Have no rain, there shall be plagues, wherewith Yahawah, BaHaSham Yahawashi, BaHaSham QaDash will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles, right? The Lord know all about war, bro. And if the people of Egypt refuse to attend the feast, the Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi, BaHaSham QaDash will punish them with the same plagues and sin and plagues that he sent on the other nations who refused to go, right? Yeah, so this is Zechariah 14, 18, 14, yeah, 18, transliterate. I'm going to Egypt, which that land is not talking about Egypt because there's no place called Egypt like that. That's a thing they created, right? It means, it has like a different meaning, right? I think it says the meaning of Egypt because that's not the city. The city would be called Mizraim, right? That's what it's.
Strong's H 4714. Mitzrayim.
Mitzrayim, yeah. After the son of Ham, that's what that land is supposed to be called, right? But they had right here, Egyptian double straits. That's what it's supposed to mean. It's just a thing that they put on it, meaning like a place of bondage, which that's where the Israelites were in bondage, which that's what you're going to be in. A lot of you going to be in bondage, or tributaries, or whatever, however you want to say it, vassal states, whatever. But you're going to be under us at the end of the day, right? Double straits. That's what you're going to be in, right? Land of Coptis, right? Which that goes into something about Christians and ancient. Something I looked it up since antiquity, but yeah, the only are Israelites, right? So, but Israelites are from, are from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and there might have been Israelites that were still in that land because from times way back, But at the end of the day, it's just talking about the nations, the actual nation, the heathen nation that will not serve Israel, a country, northwest section of Africa. Like I said, there's no such thing as Africa. It's the land of Ham. Right?
Adjacent
to Palestine, right? Was showing you right there. They know you don't have to catch a ship to get to Israel, to Egypt, or Egypt to Palestine, which would be Israel, what they call the land of Israel, right? So when you go to Deuteronomy 28 and 64, you can't say, oh yeah, you sold yourself, but no one bought you. And you got sold when you went to Egypt, and no one. It doesn't make sense. That it doesn't add up. You don't have to get a ship to go. You can walk. It's literally what it says it, adjacent to Palestine. See, I mean, the habitations of the native of Egypt, which that's like I said, it's not the word. It'd be the Mizraim, and those are dark-skinned people, which will be the people of Sudan, North Sudan. Is it North Sudan and South Sudan? Yeah. Those people of that are the actual Egyptians, right? Yeah, because that's what it is. Siege, right? And that's what's going to happen. You're going to be under siege if you don't obey. This is entrenched. Look at that.
Entrenchment.
See? The process or fact. Oh, did I say process right? Make sure I said it right.
Process.
Okay, the process, I said it right. Or fact of attitude. The fact of an attitude. Oh, see? Yeah, you can get a certain type of attitude or habit and go, oh, we living good. We don't got we got our own thing now. We got enough water. We got enough food. Hey, we ain't got to go worship them Israelites no more. Forget those N words. The N word comes back up again, right? Or belief because becoming so firmly established that change is very difficult.
Difficult.
Or unlikely. Right? It's like, dang, we got to keep serving them. Well, yeah. If you don't come up, yeah, we're gonna make it difficult and very unlikely for you to do anything. Right? We're gonna yeah, trench system. Yeah. See, the Lord is just a warrior. Trenches by troops, place of shelters for enemy fire. Yeah, you put a trench. Try to, oh, we ready. Go ahead. Let's see if we can. You're gonna starve to death, right? We're gonna entrench you. We're gonna just war against you by not letting it rain, right? True warfare. So this book demonstrates the entrenchment of certain views and paradigms in financial history, right? See, we're going to change your finance. That's what you're doing, right? You're going to change the finance, and you're going to mess up everything, and cause people to do what you want, right? To cause them to get the Krogma, the Crocs, the Graffle. But the Lord's, you think He don't know what you're doing? He's going to do the same thing to you. If you don't come up and worship Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, and pay your tribute and the things that you're supposed to do, the Lord's the Lord's going to change the paradigm of your financial state, right? Which of course Esau is going to get wiped out, Obadiah 1:18. But that's for all you other nations, right? That don't want to get down with the get down. It's Hebrews chapter 12, verse 9. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh, which completed us or corrected us, like you, right? Which, like they said, the Lord was going to chasten the heathen. So we had fathers in the flesh that corrected us, chastened us, right? But how much more the Lord, right? And we gave them reverence, right? And that's what you should be doing. All you nations should give the Lord reverence. But hey, you're not going to do it. We know that, especially Esau. Shall we not much more rather be subject unto the Father of spirits and live? And that's what you're going to realize real soon. You're going to realize your war tactics and your things that you're doing, it's nothing. The Lord knows everything. He sees it all. So did He not make your eyes? You think He can't see? Did He not make your ears? You think He don't hear what's going on in your secret counsels? But you go, well, who seeth us? Who knoweth us? They don't know what's going on. God ain't regarding, right? That's what you think. Yeah, so this is Isaiah chapter 45, verse 7. I form light and create darkness. That's the Most High, Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi. I made peace and create evil. So you think you're going to, any of your other nations, well, Esau's going to get Obadiah 1:18. But the rest of you nations, you think you're going to be in the king and you're not going to come up to the feast, tabernacle? You're going to just do your own thing? Well, and you're going to have peace? Well, that ain't going to happen. The Lord is the one who creates peace. I made peace. I create evil. So the Lord, evil mean a bad time. The Lord's going to make a bad time. It's not going to rain on you. So the thing that Esau's doing, and you're so into listening to what Esau's doing until you finally get mad. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna hate the whore because you thought this guy knew what was going on. He don't know what's going on, right? Yahawah, Yahawah, BaHaSham Yahawashi, do all these things, man. Right? Yeah, so this is Lamentation chapter 3, verse 38. Out of the mouth of the Most High, which is Yahawah, BaHaSham Yahawashi, proceedeth not evil and good. The Lord can make your day a bad day real quick, or he can make it good. Right? The Lord created all. Yeah, so this is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 39. See now that I, even I, he, which is Yahawah, right? He exists, the existing one, Yahawah, BaHaSham Yahawashi, BaHaSham QaDash, and there is no power with me, right? There's only one Yahawah, but through his only begotten Son, who is the first begotten, the first created, right? And the first from the dead, right? You know, he's the first of everything, right? The first to ever to walk this earth without sinning, right? Hey, man, he's the first of everything. Truly the first fruits. It comes through Yahawashi. You have to be tapped into Yahawashi. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, man. You got to be tapped into Yahawashi to be the first fruits, right? And so Esau, you're not going to live forever, right? I kill and I make alive. See, it's the Lord's will who lives and who dies. I wound and I heal, right? And that's for these jakes, man. That's why they wilding out. Or even these heathens. Like the first guy he had like a Moabite name, right? But he went in there and killed his wife, his son, shot the neighbor, then shot himself, right? But they said then something about the neighbor was going to survive, right? But the Lord decided that it was time to check them out. Those who was time to get checked out, right? You know, this guy, his wife and his daughter got checked out, man. You know, one of his kids is going to live with a life-altering limp, man, a permanent limp. And then the other one, nothing happened to him. The little baby, they said nothing happened to the baby at all. See, this is all orchestrated from the Most High, man. See, but it's all you think because you do the pressure from below. You're implementing all these different things, and the people who didn't take the juicy, you're putting it in the food. So you think you can was it? I'm trying to say you can. I just say you can malfunction, molecularly malfunction what Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi created, which the spirit is stronger, right? That's why it says the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, man. But the flesh is strong if you allow it to be strong, and that's what happens to these jakes. The Lord said to be convert and be healed, right? They have ears to hear, but will not hear. They have eyes to see, but cannot see, unless their hearts, their mind, the Lord allows their mind to be converted and to be healed. But they wouldn't. The Lord said, I healeth, right? But the Lord didn't want them to convert and be healed. Instead, he wanted them to get into a altercation, right? In the streets with someone, and then, you know, hey, you're in the spirit world now, right? The Lord calls depression to come on him. I mean, because you still have the rest of your family to look forward to, right? Your mother, your father. There's the things, especially even that guy was kind of up in age. That's kind of the things you assume is going to happen. One day, my mother's going to go, my father's going to go, and then I'm going to be the older person. I need to make sure I stay healthy and good because you don't know if your children are going to take care of you the way you took care of your parents, right? Or love you the way you loved your parents, right? Not to say they didn't love them, but hey, you should know about Esau. You calling him for help. He's not there to help, right? He's like, hey, I could kill him. I could kill one of these, and no one can say anything. It's not our fault. Mental health, that's not our department. Our department is, you know, lay him down. But that's not true because, well, I guess they did take away the protect and serve because they're not there to protect and serve anymore. But okay, well, regardless, the Lord is the one to do it. I wound and heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So really, it's ultimately the Lord. Whether you win a battle or lose a battle, it really comes from the Most High. It says, I lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live, right? The Lord lives forever, right? The Lord lives forever. Yahawah BaHaSham does, right? And he never coming off his throne. That's why he's going to send forth his son. He's never going to come off his throne. He don't got to. He make things happen from where he at. You ever see a mob boss? Yahawah is the ultimate mob boss, man. He's going to send his son, to send the angels, all the good angels and the bad angels. And then he's going to send the Israelites, man. Right? The Lord got ultimate. Oh, wait. The Lord can use the animals. The Lord can stop it from raining. He can make the sun stay up an extra day. You know, a hot, scorching day. Like, I'm from Phoenix. There's times we've had summers where the summers was 125 degrees outside, hottest. Oh my God! Then you got because of Esau, you got the concrete and the asphalt, all the other the buildings just collecting that heat. Imagine if the Lord just left the sun up there. I mean, people drop dead of heat waves and all sorts of stuff, right? And you know what? That's more prominent, which is crazy. Because Arizona's hot, but you always hear about people dying of heat waves in the East Coast somewhere, New York and stuff. When they have a heat, there's so many people died of the heat wave. We got homeless that live out here in the heat and all that, but we hardly ever hear about. I mean, it happens every once in a while, but the way people die of heat waves and stuff back east, it's crazy. But yeah, the Lord can kill you many different ways. I will wet my glittering. Well, ultimately, yeah, it's going to be the missiles. I will wet my glittering sword, and my hand took hold on judgment, right? And that's this place right here. I will render my vengeance to my enemies, right? All you nations, but the main nation is Edom, and will reward them that hate me, right? Right? And you hate Yahawashi BaHaSham and his people. So how do you think you're going to keep ruling, right? Yeah, so this is Isaiah chapter 45, verse 4. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel my elect, right, to be chosen, I have even called thee by thy name, which is Yasha, and have surnamed thee, though thus thou hast not known me, right? Because we were in the Gentile state of mind, right? But the Lord is the one, right? It says, I am Yahawah BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, QaDash, and there is none else, right? Because the Lord is the one who killeth and maketh alive. We know you want to do it by your technology, your technocrats, right? Your fourth industrial, Palantir, and miracles, right? Your digital miracles, digital dollars and digital miracles, right? It says, I am Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi, BaHaSham QaDash, and there is none else. There is no power, right? Because you think you're power, but you're not God. Beside me, see, the Lord, there's nobody else. The Lord, Yahawah, is in league all on his own. Yeah, he sent forth his son. He sent forth the angels. He even sent forth the Israelites. But there is no power because they all are a recipient of Yahawah's power. There's no one that gives him power. He don't get his power from anyone. The Lord always existed, right? The existing one, Yahawah, right? Which is his name, right? So who created God? He is the existing one, the ancient of days, outside of time. He's always existed, right? There's no other power beside me. I girded thee, right? Though thus has not known me, which is talking about the Israelites, the elect, right? Right? It says right here, NLT, I am Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi. There is no other power. I have equipped you for battle, though you don't even know me, right? And that's talking about the Israelites, but that's even you, Esau. The Lord equipped you for battle. He gave you the technology, gave you the ability to make the laser weapons, just so he can make it fun, right? When he give you the boot, when you get chased out of the world, that they may know from the rising of the sun, right? So that way we're gonna got to make an example out of Esau, right? And from the West, right? So all over the world, it's going to be known. It's going to be televised. The revolution will be televised. That there is none beside me. I am Yahawah, BaHaSham Yahawashi, and there is none else. So all the world, from the east to the west, will know there is no other power. I am Yahawah, BaHaSham Yahawashi, BaHaSham QaDash, and there is no other. Since I create light and make darkness, I send good times and bad times. I am the Yahawah, BaHaSham Yahawashi, BaHaSham QaDash, the one who does all these things. See? The Lord made good times and bad times, which is about to be a very bad time. Even for you, Esau. You trying to make war? The Lord already knows. Right? It says, because there's a verse that speaks that the heart of the kings are in the Lord's hand. Heart meaning la'ab, the mind. The Lord, your mind is in the Lord's hand. He knows what you're doing because it's really the Lord's charagma. It's the Lord's pressure from below. It's the Lord's palantir, man. This is all through Yahawah, BaHaSham Yahawashi. That's what like Apostle Hart said, that the machines are gonna be what is it called? They're gonna get possessed by angels and demons, right? It's gonna be the ghost in the machine, man. Right? You're gonna lose control. You're gonna know what's gonna happen, right? You know, the Lord said you're gonna have so much trouble. You ain't gonna know from which it comes, right? For I form light and create darkness. I made peace and create evil. I Yahawah, BaHaSham Yahawashi, BaHaSham QaDash, do all these things. Yeah, so this is Isaiah chapter 47, verse 11. It says, therefore shall evil come upon thee, right? Because you think you about war. And I took this a totally different way than what I was going to do this lesson. But, that's my mind just thinking how you just think you got it all in control and all this stuff. But the Lord's going to show you don't have it all in control. And the Lord is a man of war, man. And you don't know that the Lord already knows all these things, man. You know what I'm saying? The Lord knows how to do warfare. You don't know that the Lord has already went to war on your mind, went to war for all. It just said for Jacob, my servant's sake. The Lord is going to war for Jacob, man. For the elect's sake, for his elect, his chosen. So you think it's an accident that you're doing all these things? Therefore, evil shall come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. You ain't gonna know where it's coming from. You're gonna be like, damn, where'd that come from? Because you think you got everything all in control. You're the great Edomite, man. And you got all the answers, so to speak. Right? You got the power, right? And all nations and every people got to bow down to you. Well, hey, that ain't gonna happen. Yahawashi is never gonna bow to you, right? King David ain't gonna never bow to you, right? Because that's the coming kingdom. Why are the heathen raging? You would imagine a vain thing that your kingdom's gonna go on forever, right? That you name everything after your own name, that your kingdom may go on forever, but it ain't gonna happen, man. It just ain't gonna happen. Thus saith the Lord, thus saith the Holy Bible. It ain't gonna happen. You ain't gonna know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, Esau, Edom, self-proclaimed so-called white man. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, right? And desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, right? You're gonna know, like I said, Apostle Hart said that about the ghost in the machine, man, right? Right? The Lord has control over everything, man. As you know, the chariots went by these launch sites, these nuclear sites, and made the nuclear sites get ready to launch the missiles, and you had to go in there and turn it off, right? Your what's that? Your alert, your alarms are going off, right? You have to run in there and turn it off real quick because the angels came and flipped on the switch, right? So how much more in that day, man? Through your little machines, right? You may try to aim a machine at an elect member, and an angel will go inside that, or even a demon, and it'll go after one of these other people, or even one of you people who think you, just because you're on the seat of a Congress, that nothing's going to happen to you, or because you went to a military base, that nothing's going to happen to you, or you think because you went into the depths below, and the Lord ain't going to have a Leviathan come and bite you, right? As the scriptures say, you're not going to escape, man, right? You're not going to escape. You know, come upon thee suddenly, which thou shall not know. You ain't gonna know anything. You ain't gonna know from whence it come. You ain't gonna know from what's this and what's you ain't gonna know. You're gonna completely be in the dark. Since you think the Lord is in the dark, and the Lord don't know you, you're gonna be in the dark, and you ain't gonna know from where it come from, right? So disaster will overtake you. See, and that's ultimately what's gonna happen. And you won't be able to charm your way away. You won't be able to charm it away, right? All your witchcraft, you ain't gonna be able to. Okay, well, let's put on a news article and let's put on this and let's say it's really this, and let's say, and then you already see that you're being able to charm everything away. It's starting to dissipate. It's not. You see how people keep asking for the Epstein files, and then you keep just leaking out a little bit of something and a little something, and you know what I mean. And but you ain't really leaking it. You ain't really leaked it out. You ain't put it out there yet, right? Little silly stuff has happened, right? And that was probably a psyop to say the whole thing with Bubba and Trump, and well, maybe that's why he don't want to. And then that's maybe to get the mega on their side and say, hey, yeah, we don't want that about our guy. That's our guy. We don't want. We don't tell everybody to shut up about the Epstein file. Let's not. We don't want to know. But come to find out, people still want to know. That made people more interested. Oh, if that's in the Epstein file, and Putin got pictures. Oh, well, what else is going on? We want to know. You're forgetting that these are the people who y'all built throughout all these times and these years to have that. What's that? That magazine, Inquiring Minds, right? All this gossip, magazines and all these different things. People love gossip now, right? Even though that's opposite of the scriptures. That show you that this place is not a God-fearing place, man. They love gossip in this place, man. Right? Where was I at? Yeah. Disaster shall overtake you, and you won't be able to charm your way out of it, right? Through your witchcraft, you're gonna be able to do any of that different things, your media and whatever else, that you try to do, a psyops or a false flag event or an event, right? You won't be able to put it off. Calamity will fall upon you, and you won't be able to buy your way out, right? Oh, wait, Putin. How about we give you some money? How about Shim Shung Bang Cheng Cheng, right? Jim, right? The North Korean guy, Kim Jong Un. It's like Kim Jong Un. Let me give you some money. Let me do this, or let me buy the people, right? Because when you go into Job, so the hand of the wicked shall be upon them, right? You could think, oh, I'll just pay the people off. I think that's what he's talking about now, right? I'll give everybody $2,000, and we'll just pay the people off, and people will shut up. We'll just give them 2,000 or something. They'll shut up. But when things keep going up and up, and 2,000, it ain't going as far as it used to. If it went pretty far, I think people would shut up. But it's not going as far as it used to. So people ain't gonna be quiet, right? So you're gonna be able to buy your way out. A catastrophe, right, will strike you suddenly, one for which you will not prepare, right? Which is the missiles. You're not prepared for the ICBM missiles. You're not prepared for what's that thing Putin just got? I forgot the name of it. But it said it's fueled. It's not fueled by jet fuel or whatever, but its power is it's powered by nuclear power, and for it to shoot over here. And then the nukes are in the nuke. Oh man, that's nuclear power to get here. So it's going to come here really fast, right? Then you got the hypersonic ICBM missiles. You're not prepared for these things, man. But there's a lot of things you're not prepared for. You're not prepared for when the Lord allows the beasts, the wild beasts that were created that no one's really ever seen. And once the Lord released these things, Leviathan and all these different wild, crazy beasts that you heard of, or maybe even sometimes you may have seen it on your radar, but you ain't really experienced it. Wait till your military has to come against these beasts, right? Some weird stuff, which I think a little bit, because what's that movie, Space? What's it called? I used to like it. Came out in the like the early 90s, mid 90s. Space Troopers, right? And the different animals and things and how you had to fight. Yeah. How you had to put your military. Yeah, man. You might have a real life Space Troopers, but you ain't got to go to space for that. It's going to be right here on Earth. It's going to be something you can't put off, right? Something catastrophic. Some weird ass roach, cockroach that how they hard to kill. Imagine some big ones and then they could shoot fire out there. Oh man, it's gonna be some crazy stuff, bro. Yeah. So this is Job chapter 20 verse 22. In the fullness of his sufficiency, right? When you think everything is gonna go good, you got the Karagma out there. People are actually lining up to get, to get chipped. Let's just say it. I mean, don't be afraid, Esau. We know you're gonna, a lot of people are gonna go for it, bro. You're gonna charm a couple people into doing it. A great majority you're gonna charm into doing it. So it's no big deal, right? He shall be in straits. See, a place of difficultiness. It's gonna come from when you don't know where it's coming from. All of a sudden you're gonna be in straits. You're gonna be in a place of difficultness, right? Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. See, you think that it's just gonna be this thing where everything's gonna be good, right? And the wicked is talking about the people, right? The people you just think is useless eaters who's just stupid, but your charm, you're not being able to charm this away, right? Yeah. So this is Job chapter 20, verse 22, blue letter. I'm just gonna go down to wicked, right? Amal.
Strong's H 6001. A male.
Right.
A male.
That's a male, but I believe it's a mile. Yeah, there it is.
Strong's H 5998. A male.
A mile. Yeah.
A male.
Yeah, that's what it is. Right. A mile. And a mile, meaning what they said, the wicked, meaning laborer, sufferer, wretched ones, laborer, workman, right? The regular blue collar guy. Which now you're even ripping off the so-called white collar guy, what they call, the people that's in Wall Street and the people who the middle class, the ones who own restaurants and companies and businesses. You've been ripping them off, and basically they're down here with the regular poor. They're poor now. They're just the wretched ones now. They're the wicked, right? They're the laborers, the sufferers, right? The toilers, right? The laborers, toilers, laborers, right? Right? Amal. Right? Right? Yeah. Every hand of Amal, right? The wicked ones, laborers, sufferers, toilers, right? The white collar and the blue collar. Well, the blue collar, should I say the blue collar, and some, I guess, white collar too, but it really be the actual regular blue collar worker, regular guy, right? The one that worked hard and believed in his system shall come upon him, right? Come upon this system. It's when he is about to fulfill his belly, fulfill your enterprise and do everything, and things it's gonna look like it's gonna flow in exactly the way you want it to go. Everything's lined up. You got your ducks in a row, so to speak, right? Boom, sudden destruction, sudden calamity, right? Sudden catastrophe, the Lord said. When he is about to fill his belly, the power, Yahawah BaHaSham Yahawashi, shall cast his fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain upon him while he is eating. Right? So you think it's a joke? You think you could take away food and leave people starve? The Lord could take away your food, right? He's gonna take away your provision, your riches, your glory, right? It says that we're gonna boast ourselves in the riches of the Gentiles, of the heathen, right? So we're gonna take away your glory, man. You're gonna have shame for glory, man. Right? He shall flee from the iron weapon, right? The ICBM missiles, the glittering sword, right? And the bow of steel, which is the ICBM missiles, right? From Putin and Kim Jong and whatever the Iran, the Persians, whatever they have, because you think they don't have something, but they definitely got something, right? And then of course you got France and Turkey and what's the other one that was your ally? Turkey was your ally. You got what was the other one that's ally? God dang it. Can't think of the other one. But yeah, those people, they got missiles, they're gonna shoot on you. France and England and Turkey, and the other ones that's kind of like, they like Ishmaelites, but they're the Edomites. God dang it. I think of what they are, what the name is, but that's all right. But yeah, they're gonna shoot your the whole world's gonna shoot missiles on this place called America, Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon, right? Strike him through, right? And it is it is drawn and cometh out of the body, right? Talking about the missiles, the glittering sword, right? Going back into that, without of his gall, terrors are upon him, right? And that's what it is, man. The missiles are gonna come, but before that, you're gonna have the race wars, the calamity, this and that, and you think because you're causing people to, get depressed and do all these different things, which it's gonna increase, man. But the Lord is actually judgment. The Lord judgeth every day, so that's all judgment, right? Even for them little children, right? There's no one perishes being innocent. I should have brought that one up, but that's all right. Call Layum Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, Rawchaa, QaDash. I'd like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops of Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners, whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To your sisters, Yahawah, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and the Bible ball, and Kwam Yasharallah.